Hi, welcome back. So we move on part 3. Environmental communication part 3. So, we will discuss about first, environmental communication barrier. Second, principles of environmental communication. Third, policy of environmental communication. Principles of environmental communication. First, transparency. Second, appropriateness. Third, credibility, clarity. And the last one, regionality. Transparency. The process, procedures, methods, data sources, and assumption used in environmental communications are available to all interested parties. Interested parties are informed to their role in environmental communication. Appropriateness. The information provided in environmental communication is relevant to interested parties, using formats, language, and media that meet their interests and needs, enabling them to participate fully. The communication consider diversity, inclusion, and gender of the interested parties. Next, credibility. Open to the needs of interested parties. Queries and concern of interested parties are responded to in a full and timely manner. Interested parties are aware of how their queries and concern have been addressed. The communication is conducted in an honest and fair manner. Fourth, clarity. The approaches and language are understandable to interested parties to minimize ambiguity. Fifth, regionality. Takes into consideration the local or regional environmental context relevant to the area where the corresponding environmental impact occurs. Environmental communication policy. First, management commitment. The organization's top management should set, express the commitment to, and promote the environmental communication policy. What to be stated in policy? The policy should be consistent with the principle in Clause 4, and should clearly state the following. First, commitment to engage in dialogue with interested parties. Second, commitment to disclose information about its environmental performance. Third, significance of internal and external environmental communication in the organization. Fourth, commitment to implement the policy and provide the necessary resources. The last one, commitment to address key environmental issues. Developing the policy should interact and engage with those responsible for communication to ensure that the policy is coherent and consistent with other policies and the values of the organization. Second, should implement the policy and provide input for the formulation and modification of the policy. Third, should convey to interested parties the importance that the organization places on communication about environmental issues, environmental aspects and their associated impacts, and environmental performance. Next, an organization's vision, mission, values and culture can play a fundamental role in developing an environmental communication policy. They also should make a commitment in the policy to reflect local, regional, and/or national cultural characteristics in its environmental communication activities, where applicable. The importance factors in developing policy. Importance factors that should be considered when developing an environmental communication policy include: first, the organization's business sector and its product or service portfolio. The size, its organizational infrastructure, its corporate governance, its market and brand strategies, the existence of an environmental management systems. The last one, consideration of environmental aspects and impacts, including those in the supply chain, use, and end-of-life stages of products. Next, interaction with related aspects, such as health and safety and other sustainability approaches. Legal requirements regarding the disclosure of environmental information. Legal, regional, national and international voluntary codes of ethics or conduct. The expectations of interested parties. The public's right to know. The policy should be communicated to interested parties, both internal and external, as appropriate. We move to environmental communication barrier. What is environmental communication barrier? Environmental barriers are obstacles within the environment that inhibit effective therapeutic communication. These factors may just cause distraction, leading to inattentiveness, or totally alter the message, causing miscommunication. Physical barriers. Physical barriers are made up of the environmental and natural conditions that interfere with the communication process, the sending and receiving of messages between the sender and receiver. A non-conducive surrounding may include insufficiently ventilated rooms, poor infrastructure, incompetency in dealing with new technology, sounds related to physical disturbances, and distractions. These factors can interfere with the smooth flow of information. For instance, if a place is noisy, the sender will be distracted from messaging, and whatever little he communicates is unlikely to be received in the same way by the receiver. Chronomatic barriers refer to problems related with time, such as delay caused in receiving the message due to physical distance between the sender and the receiver, different time zones of the sender and receiver of the message. Language barrier. First, communicating with people whose native language is not English can pose problems. However, it's not the only language issue businesses face. Second, the way people speak is different from each generation. Speech impediments can cause comprehension issues, and industry-specific language may be difficult to understand for someone unaccustomed to it. Third, utilizing common-sense strategies such as translation services, learning the basics of the foreign language, and using multiple methods of communication such as video can overcome these language barriers. Gender barrier. First, communication between men and women is affected by gender. It is found that male and female brains are structured to process information differently. Second, this makes relations between women and men complex, posing many communication challenges. Each gender has a distinctive communication pattern and often mistakenly assumes that the opposite gender thinks and acts as they do. Third, this is where miscommunication arises, because each side believes that they are communicating clearly based on their own communication patterns, but they are not. In this video we have learned about three things. First, environmental communication barriers. Principles of environmental communication. Policy of environmental communication. Bye. See you in the part 4. Thank you for joining.